guys, what is up and welcome back to another TheSatinCrew video. Today is a video which everyone has asked for. We are doing a Q&A. So without further ado, let's get it started. Alright, so let's get the Q&A started, obviously on my SatinCrew iPhone. So the first question is, what's your favorite car in the collection? So that is quite a hard question because we love every car we own, obviously. I mean, that's why we own the cars. But for us, the favorite still is and will forever be the Hurricane Performante Spider. And there's also a simple reason to that. It's because nowadays you don't get a car like a Performante again. It's like the last proper V10 Spider, which is loud as hell. And yeah, the Lamborghini design is so sharp and it's like basically timeless. So the Performante Spider will be and is our favorite car in the collection. Let's move on to the second question now, which is how are you able to get those limited cars? So getting limited edition cars is actually not as hard as some people might think. For us it's decently easy because we have always had a lot of cars from a lot of manufacturers, and if you have, let's say, a big history in Ferrari and you have a 599 GTB and you want to get a 599 GTO, you can basically then apply to purchase the car, and if you're lucky you get accepted. And that is basically how we get into limited cars with any manufacturers, because we have a good history in purchasing cars from the brand itself. On to the next question now. So that is, how much would it cost to fill up every car you own? So I've actually thought about that and I calculated the price, how much it would be to fill up every car we have. So currently we are at 17 cars, and to fill up every single car we own right now, it would be 1,860 euros. But that is only roughly because it obviously depends where you get the fuel. But yeah, 1,860 euros to fill up every car we have. Alright, so the next question is Lamborghini Urus or RS Q8? So this is a very controversial question and a lot of people have very different opinions on that. And I know there's a lot of Audi fanboys who are like RS Q8 over anything because they think it's the same car as the Lamborghini Urus, which I personally disagree with, but that is okay. So I would say it's definitely the Lamborghini Urus for us. That is why we own the car as well. But yeah, I could be wrong. I haven't driven the RS Q8 yet. But for now, definitely Team Lamborghini Urus. Moving on to another question now, and that question is, what are the plans for 2021? That really depends on how the whole Corona situation is evolving next year. But we definitely want to do a lot of road trips. If you guys remember, we still have the idea with the racing truck. Also, a lot of new cars will join our fleet. Hopefully we can do some track days, and also eventually, if Corona allows it, do some meetups with you guys in different locations all over Europe. Yeah, so that is the current plan for 2021, but it's quite hard to plan right now. Welcome to the back of the M5 now. I switched positions because this is my office space right now to answer your questions. So let's move on to the next question. It's not actually a question which we received, but I'll turn it into a question. So the person wrote, we want to see a hypercar. Yeah, so I guess the question is going to be, will there be a hypercar? And to that question, I'm just going to say, we are the Satin Crew. We buy a lot of cars and there's always something crazy going on. So it's not a full yes and not a no. So it's going to be a maybe for you guys to think about if it's actually going to happen or not. I would say just stay tuned and see what's going to happen on our channel. There is no limits. Question number 7 now, and that question is, why are all the cars satin black? Good question, hard to answer as well. Simply because we love satin black right now, and we always used to have our cars quite monochrome, so there used to be white, grey or black, and one day we just kind of decided on getting everything in satin black, and it all started with our Performante getting that in satin black as well. And we're just so in love because when you have the satin PPF on the gloss paintwork itself, it shimmers in the sunlight, so you see the lines of the car way better, which just basically enhances the design of the car itself, giving it a nicer and also more aggressive look. And we just like to have all of the cars like a stealth fighter basically. So yeah, that is why we take satin black for every single car. We just love it. Moving on to the next question now, which is how did you come up with the name TheSatinCrew? So that question is actually quite simple and we get that asked quite often. So we called it TheSatinCrew because all of our cars are obviously satin black at the moment. And the crew part of the name, so crew, is all of the cars we have. Like, we are not the crew, the cars are the crew itself. And the cars are satin, and we didn't want to limit ourselves to just satin black. That is why we called it the Satin Crew, basically. Alright, so this leads on to the next question now, and that question is how many people are in the Satin Crew? And that is quite simple to answer. It's myself and my father. We are only two people who are absolutely ridiculous and love cars way too much and way more than anything else in life. So we are full-on car addicts, and that's why we have a lot of cars. And yeah, the Satin Crew is me and my father, that's all. So question number 10. Is there another Porsche joining our fleet? As you guys know, we just took delivery of our 718 GT4 and we also own the 992 Carrera 4S. And if there's another Porsche joining the fleet right now, I can't say because there's nothing we have ordered at the moment. But we will see in the future, maybe next year. If everything goes right, there will be a next Porsche, but I can't tell you right now because we are not sure either. Alright, so the next question is, what cars are on order? So I can't tell you everything because we have a few surprises here and there, and sometimes we buy a car quite spontaneously. But as you guys know, the Hurricane STO, we announced that, so that is on order. Our Aventador SVJ is not on order anymore. It should come very, very soon now, so I don't think I can call it on order. And then there's a couple of more cars which are on order right now, but I'm not gonna tell you because those are planned to be surprises. And let's also see where we go with the McLaren Elva, if we do that at the end or not, because that is a point I wanted to touch on. We still haven't decided if we're actually going to buy the car or not, but we will update you guys on that for sure. Next question, and that is a question which I actually love. Why no Ferrari? Yeah, there's Ferraris missing in our collection right now, for sure. But currently the customer service and the cars which they build are not the best in our opinion, especially the quality on the interior. I've seen on a few pieces that literally the stitching, which should go straight, is literally like this. And you don't want to pay that much money for a car which is just not that great from the quality, in our opinion. And for some of you might asking, we used to have a lot of Ferraris as like the 599 GTO, 599 GTB, 458s, FFs, Californias. Yeah, like a lot of Ferraris, but right now there's nothing interesting for us. After the 458, the Ferraris kind of got boring for us. But maybe in the future there will be a cool Ferrari which we like, and then we'll get one for sure, if the quality, the price and the service from Ferrari is good enough. And we're already at question number 13, which is dream car. So what is our dream car? That question is really hard to answer because every car we have is like a dream car towards us. That's why we have purchased the car. But I think a dream car right now would be a car such as like the McLaren Senna, the Carrera GT, even though we used to have one. But yeah, it's really hard to say. So every car we own really is our dream car. Yeah, that's kind of the answer for this question. Next question now. So that question is actually going to be, which of your car has the most kilometers? That right now is our Mercedes AMG G63, which has about 45,000 kilometers, which is not too bad considering we got the car in the end of 2018, if I remember correctly. And yeah, perfect car. We still love it to bits, and really a lot more kilometers to come on that thing. Question number 15. What was your first car? So my first car was actually a Mini John Cooper Works. It was a 2017 car, because when I lived in the UK I was able to do my driving license when I was 17. So I got my first car when I was 17, put a stupid loud exhaust on it, and I absolutely loved the car. So yeah, that was my first car. And then my father's first car was a Opel Kadett, which was orange as far as I remember, which is, I mean, orange. Quite a different color, but yeah, Opel Kadett. So Mini John Cooper Works for me and Opel Kadett for him back in the days. Alright, we're outside now getting some fresh air and obviously continuing with the questions. So, next question is, craziest car and most normal car which you have had in your collection? So I think the most normal car we used to have was a C63 AMG, because I don't count like the very first cars into the collection really. And the craziest car we used to have is a really hard question, because we used to have cars such as like the Carrera GT, CLK DTM, SL73, 599 GTOs, SLR, so everything which is a bit crazy, but I think the craziest was probably the Carrera GT or the CLK DTM. Moving on, next question is, why not the new RS6? The car's not interesting to us, and it's kind of like there's no emotion in the car anymore, and we have like an M5 for example. So yeah, no RS6 for us, sorry. So the next question gets asked really often. I'm not going to give you exact locations, but the question is, where do you live? So we live in the south of France and also in London, and that is as much as you're going to get because we like our privacy. Question 19 now. Can we get a garage tour? So we are actually working on something right now to make that possible. So yes, in the future you will get a full-on garage tour with every car we have. Alright, also a question which got asked really often. When is the SVJ coming? So the SVJ should arrive in Germany probably just before the end of the year. So we will pick it up in January, hopefully, but we don't know. We need to see if the car comes in time. Due to COVID, everything is a bit shifted around, but SVJ is coming very soon. Moving on to another question now, and that question is, will the Hurricane STO go satin? It kind of explains it in our name, the Satin Crew, so definitely yes, the Hurricane STO will go satin. Maybe a few little red details like the Mclaren 620R, but yes, the car will be satin black obviously. So we have just moved back inside the car because it's absolutely freezing outside right now. And the next question is current lineup of cars. I wrote down a list so I can say everything perfectly. So first, Lamborghini Hurricane Performante, then we have the Lamborghini Urus, the BMW M2 CS, the BMW M5 Competition LCI, this one right here. Rolls-Royce Wraith Black Badge A45S AMG, G63 AMG, AMG GTR, McLaren 600 LT, McLaren 620R, McLaren 720S Spider, McLaren 675 LT, McLaren 765 LT, Porsche 718 GT4, 911 Carrera 4S, the 992. Then we have a Audi RS3 from APR, and that is it for right now. I hope I didn't forget a car. That would be very embarrassing, but that's it for right now. This question now is asked really often, and that is, why do we not have our number plates as sexy? As you guys know, our number plates are SEYX. For example, on the BMW M2 CS it's SEYX20, and so the reasons are basically that we do not like sexy because a lot of people have sexy, and it's quite hard to get good numbers with the sexy number plate. And the YX has a personal meaning to my father and I, so we decided to keep it as YX. And it's always very funny because when the people see the cars first, they're like, oh my god, it's a sexy car. So yeah, that is quite cool, and that is why it's not sexy. Okay, so the next question is, why do you have so many McLarens? It seems like we have a lot of McLarens, but we also have a lot of cars from other brands. And why we have those McLarens is simply because the driving feel of them is absolutely amazing. They're very light, extremely fast, and just a lot of fun to drive, and we love the design as well. So that is why we became a bit obsessed with McLarens. Alright, so the next question is, will there be meetups? And yes, there will be meetups for sure. But as mentioned before with Corona right now, we can't say when and where because we don't want to break the Corona rules, and yeah, so there will be meetups, but just can't say when yet. Moving on to the next question now, and that is, when is Twitch coming? So I announced on Instagram that I will be streaming on Twitch so that we guys can connect together as one and still basically meet up together as a big car community. And Twitch will probably be starting after Christmas time, so in the new year, in January, is the current plan to launch our Twitch channel. Furthermore, another question is, are there any plans to tune cars we have? So as you know, we have quite a few cars which are tuned already, but for example the 718 GT4 will get an exhaust for sure, and I actually quite like it when you raise the wing a bit from the GT4. It kind of makes it look a bit better. So that could be extremely interesting, and we might actually do that. Other than that, there's a few surprises again coming, so stay tuned on that end as well. Now we have a very painful question, which my dad and I hate. So which cars do we regret selling? Sadly, there's quite a few which we regret selling. The biggest one for us definitely being the Carrera GT and also the CLK DTM. So those are two cars definitely which we have sold, which we shouldn't have sold. But yeah, it doesn't mean that there won't be a Carrera GT ever coming back to us. So maybe in the future we'll add one to the collection again. Next up is the question, would you add bikes to your collection? We used to have a few Harleys, but currently no, we're not the biggest fans of vehicles with two wheels. We like four wheels. So for driving, definitely not. But maybe if a bike looks really cool or something, having it next to the cars could be quite cool, but definitely not for driving, and I don't think we will actually add any bikes as of right now. The next question is, how old am I? So I'm 20 years old, quite simple to answer, not a lot to say, so yeah, 20. Alright, so here we are now already at the very last question of today's Q&A, but don't worry, there will be more Q&As coming, so more questions you can ask. And the very last question is, can I be a passenger in your Lambo? Sure, you can. I can't tell you when yet or where. We need to see if an opportunity arises for that, and you also need to let me know which Lambo you want to be a passenger in. And yes, we need to see what happens after Corona. So if we meet any of you guys and the opportunity arises, sure, we can take you for a spin as well. So let's see what happens in the future. This is it for today's video. Our very first Q&A is now done. There will be a few of them in the future, so everyone can ask a question basically. And yeah, I hope you enjoyed the video. Make sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Also press the post notification bell. And yeah, I'll see you soon. Take care and bye-bye.